Hey, can you guys be quiet on the set, please? Quiet on the set.
What's that?
We'll do it later.
What are you doing?
We're gonna record.
We're not doing anything. We're not doing anything. Hello, world. My name is Allison Shockley, and my fiance, Danny Caudle, and I are on a magical thinking tour of all 50 states. So far, we've hit California, Oregon, and are currently in Washington. But first, let me tell you how we got here.
I could eat.
In Oregon, we took the Max to Gateway, where Danny's Native American grandmother picked us up. Being a typical granny, she wanted to make sure we had plenty to eat. So off to Taco Bell we went, where she told us lovely stories of growing up on the reservation in South Dakota. I related to her on several different levels, so we hit it off immediately. I could tell she trusted me because she shared the good and the bad. Grandma Lucille then took us back to her home, where she lived with family of Danny's, his cousin Joe, Aunt Pam, Uncle Jim, and also frequent visitors, his cousins Sam and Carrie, and baby Allie, and Joe's lady friend Megan. And who can forget about Bob? You people food eating dog, you. Grandma could tell I felt overwhelmed talking with such a large group of people, so she pulled me into her cozy room where we got to do more one-on-one talking.
Let's look behind the door. Those are just the little trinkets I have, and I just put it in there. They're all very personal because they were made by cousins and very, very dear friends. And my mother's headband's in there. My niece, who is 10 years younger than me, we were traveling companions. She and I would take off. We went up to Peninsula together. So she and I had a real good time together.
She showed us all of her fascinating native trinkets.
Gosh.
And gave me a handmade bracelet that her niece had made her before she passed away. She shared the book she was currently writing about her experiences growing up on the reservation, called In the Shadow of a Rosebud. We saw photos of her when she was younger, what a babe. Photos of her parents, Native American hymns, and photos growing up on the reservation. I think it was important for Danny to learn about his family history, to see where he came from, and to see what made his grandmother the woman she is. And I was more than happy to witness the unity that my family lacks. My family is rather small, and Danny's is rather large. In fact, I'm the baby of the family. I don't have much experience around kids, so one thing I'm learning on this tour is how to be comfortable around family and children. However, the first night, I settled in just fine. The next morning, Grandma wanted to share excitement with us. She got some food in our bellies, and Aunt Pam, Danny, Grandma, and I headed off the Multnomah Falls, the tallest waterfall in the state of Oregon.
Hash brown, bacon, eggs, toast.
Later that day, Grandma got to talking about an issue she needed to resolve, but didn't know how. She needed to change her name in order to get some cash for some land she owns in South Dakota. The government was forcing her into selling it, so we helped her get down to the courthouse to fill out the paperwork. And I'm kind of glad we did because Grandma is not the best driver.
Because also when I make a turn, this car is starting to do.
Your blinkers on.
Oh, when I make a turn, and when I turn, this car sounds like somebody's honking at me.
Right.
It scares me. Oh, what I do.
Although sometimes I felt that Grandma was capable on her own and just wanted our company, I don't think she would have gotten as far along in the process as she did without us. It was complicated, and we had to pull a few strings. Grandma has a lot to share, and luckily for her, I was in the mood to be a great listener. I loved her stories of bareback horse riding, hunting turtles, and the sun-dried food she ate as a child. You could tell she was a great writer just by the way she spoke and described things. I could tell Danny was hanging on by a single thread during the process, but the wonderful thing about him is he will always put himself aside to help his family and friends. Afterwards, our spirits were so low, we decided to grab a bite to eat, buffet style. I know, I felt better. One thing I've learned about the Caudles is they love to play games. Any game, really. And then Danny played for Grandma. I'm sure it reminded her of Danny's father. That is how he learned to play after all. I'm not going to lie, I was relieved to say goodbye. Grandma was slowly working on fattening me up, and I was ready for some fast-paced adventure. Danny's Uncle Jim and Aunt Pam bought us train tickets to Tacoma, Washington, where Danny's brother Tim lived. I think they bought the tickets as a thanks for helping Grandma out, but I never really asked, so I'm not sure. So Aunt Pam and Grandma dropped us off at the station. If we didn't have tickets, I'm sure Grandma would have found a way to talk us into staying another night. But our one-night stay had stretched to a whole week, and we had to move on. The problem with getting the tickets, though, was that meant we would head straight to Tacoma, and our original plan was to stop in Olympia to stay with Lisa Hayes and her son Kingston. Lisa is the mother of Caleb, who had picked us up in Albany, Oregon 2 weeks prior. When I called and told Kingston we got the tickets, he was devastated, so I promised him that after my aunt's house, I would stay a million years with him.
This is my good angle. That's my good angle. We'll make sure and put that one in the video.
On the train, we didn't hear the announcement for our stop, so we missed it. But oddly enough, they made an unscheduled stop just for us. Honestly, I think it's because they knew they were on the wrong. Either way, I was so heated.
Unscheduled stop. So sorry for that, guys, but it's the best we can do, okay? Thank you. They don't normally do that.
I think that they were behind schedule, and they did, okay. So I guess everyone's like waiting downstairs. I come out of the bathroom to go up to get my things. By the time I'm almost to not even to my seat, they take off. So that's how long the doors were open.
Yeah, so that's the
They better let me off.
I've ever seen them let anybody off.
Well, it's because they were behind schedule and they were not announcing it over that to let people off in Tacoma.
Right.
So it was their mistake, and that's why they let people.
Luckily for us, Danny's brother is super chill and drove the extra time to come get us. His wife Brenna and 3 kids came too. I felt so bad they had to come all that way because they looked beat. But that was the beginning of my relationship with 3 of the most awesome people on the face of the planet. And their 2 guinea pigs. Tegan is the brains. He is crafty and is currently building his own fishing pole. McKenna is the feisty one. Always makes me laugh and keeps me on my toes. And then there's Riley, the oldest of the 3, and has a knack for nail art. I requested smiley faces.
This one is Ariel, and that one is Caudle, which is a scaredy cat. They crawl up your shirt and go in your pants, and they're both boys. Here is Ariel. He's really good at jumping over walls and play hide and seek. They can play hide and seek and tag, Garrett.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Did I mention that the Caudles like to play games? Holy cow, they play games. Cards, chess, Donkey Kong, Bonanza, it never ends. Although I'm not a game player, one thing that did benefit me was the fact that they both love to cook. Brenna being the star player in the kitchen, she showed us her recipe for the best scones. For the full video of the recipe, comment below. I'd be happy to share. But like always, we had to move on.
Come here.
Yeah, never was. Yeah. You gonna play chess?
again. I know. I'm sure it's sad after I whooped you.
So Tim drove us off base so we could meet up with my Aunt Anne. We met her at the nearest place with coffee. We are coffee drinkers, and it becomes quite a bit of a challenge to get caffeinated at a non-coffee drinker's home. Mormons to be more specific. Danny's family is Mormon, and coincidentally, so is my Aunt Anne. So she really felt connected to Tim.
Can you step away?
When we came out from grabbing coffees, she had zoned in on him and asked us to step away. The last time I really remember having a relationship with my Aunt Anne was when I was very young. So I wasn't sure what she was like. All I can say is I'm definitely related to her. She was a teacher, she retired, and now she volunteers her time for the LDS community and teaches genealogy. However, what I didn't know is she is really musical. She has played the violin for years. So her and Danny played together. I was starting to get really impatient though. I had come to collect my mother's things for my family, since we had so little to remember her by. But when I saw what she had, I was shocked. Hardly any photos or clothes.
Dale Caudle. Sergeant Dale Caudle. Do you know a Dale Caudle?
Weird. 'Cause we're from Stockton. This like the top of the.
Investigators weren't certain of exactly what was said, however, or what prompted the threat. Sheriff Sergeant Dale Caudle said Wednesday. Not everybody has the name Caudle.
She did have the entire transcript from the trial. I'm talking all the interviews, interrogations, everything from her murder trial. So we scanned them in, one by one, so I could at least provide something for my family.
It's 11:30 on August 6th. And we're reading the transcription from my mother's murder trial. I couldn't help but notice that his birthday is tomorrow, which kind of freaked me out because sometimes I get a little spooked, and I think that, like, you know, my mom and people are like talking to me from the grave, right? And it's like a gift to him, and I can't help but feel like he brought me here so I could read this all over again. And I don't know that I want to be reading it, but I've already started, and so I must finish. I know that, you know, Danny talked to me, and obviously that's crazy thinking, so I'm gonna let that go. But I just think it's a little weird that I'm reading his interview on his birthday. Kind of weird. I do know something after I read my dad's. I love that man so much. He fought for me. He did.
After reading, we stepped out for some air, and I noticed a frog sitting next to me, which represents detoxification of your life and change. In the morning, Aunt Anne took us to our hotel, and on the way, we picked up a hitchhiker.
Are you going to the bus stop at the Mason?
What bus stop? What bus stop?
Okay.
What bus stop there? She said what bus stop?
Ferry's in.
Ferry's in. I don't know what that means in English. Yeah. What's that mean in English? Ferry's in.
That means that the ferry came in and that's where all the cars are coming from.
What's he videotaping?
We're doing a documentary.
On what child?
You're what?
On what child?
On what child?
On what? What's your documentary on, child?
Oh, we're traveling America.
Really, child?
Yep, and and all the experiences that we encounter.
Really, child? How old are you?
I'm 30.
Really? How old are you, ma'am?
27.
What city are you guys from?
We're from California.
Yes.
So we're doing all 50 states.
Are you enjoying this, Sonny, with your camera?
Yeah.
What's his name in disguise? What's his name?
Danny.
Where's he from?
He's from Oregon originally, but we live together in Fresno, California.
Has to be. With a camera like that.
Yeah.
What's wrong with the camera?
Delightful.
So where are you from?
No comment.
No comment. Okay. Okay.
She was weird, but eventually we made it to our room to relax and digest.
Whoa, that is really strong. Holy shit. We're experiencing an earthquake right now. It's been going on for about a minute, I want to say. It's enough to shake everything on the walls. Nothing's fallen off yet. Whoa.
Don't worry, we called the desk moments later and found out that we were just next to the laundry room. After 3 days of powdered eggs and hotel coffee, we were ready to be on our way. Danny had reached out to his old buddy Joel, who was more than happy to come pick us up and take us to his house in Paiute. Seriously, the sweetest guy you'll ever meet.
This is Mikasa.
From there, he took us to the lake. We ate. I made awesome new friends, one being Joel's girlfriend Misty and her friend Jessica. I think the lake was exactly what I needed. I was looking to let my hair down, socialize, and connect on a different level, and get a little bit wild and entertained.
Thank you. Turn down for what? Okay. Fine. Hold on to my britches.
And I held on for dear life. My adrenaline was pumping. It was an experience I will never forget. It was what I was looking for, honestly. Danny almost didn't go, but we talked him into it. He had borrowed Joel's swim trunks, so his pants were falling down, but he still managed to hang on the longest. I definitely wanted more adventure, more activities. I'm thankful for Joel and Misty and the opportunity they gave us. Thanks, guys. We went back to Joel's and stayed the night. But we knew we had to get to Olympia because I promised Kingston 1,000,000 years.
I didn't pack very good.
You didn't?
I was gonna shove everything in there.
So we talked him into picking us up again because Danny's mom and David were staying with him and were passing through Olympia the next morning. It was also Penny and David's anniversary, so they made an awesome dinner and we most definitely enjoyed. Happy anniversary, guys.
Cookies are trouble.
Trouble. Over the lips and on the hips, right, Allison?
The next morning, David made his famous cookies and sent us on our way.
Allison, thanks for the cookies. Yeah. Which David?
The David who made the cookies.
His stepdad.
Try
Hey,
cookies.
my dad's name is David.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool. You guys have a lot in common, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, and guess what? My brother's roommate's name is Danny, too.
Right.
This is craziness. This is crazy. My brother's roommate's name is Danny, and my dad's name is David. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Kingston is a very bright 6-year-old. He's very musical and often talks in a Russian and English accent. Caleb and Kingston's mother, Lisa, is amazing as well. She took us in and seriously rolled out the red carpet for us. I had never felt so comfortable in someone's home before. We felt so comfortable, we took a walk around. Absolutely beautiful. We took pics at the Capitol building.
Where do you want me to sit?
And started to
Where do you want
head
me to-
downtown. When Ariel, Kingston's nanny, appeared out of thin air.
Well, because I seriously feel my shoulder still like this. I saw you guys, like, when you guys crossed the street, when you guys started to cross the street. So I was going to see how long I could stalk you guys without you noticing.
Nice.
But then I started feeling like that was a little creepy. So.
She was an awesome guide. She showed us vintage thrift stores and venues. I seriously wish I had an Ariel for every new city I stumbled upon. I love the feel of Olympia, very alternative. We walked around and got to know each other really well. I see a lot of myself in her, except her style is way cooler than mine, and she has a voice that will make your soul cry. The song you are listening to now is actually her. So now we are here in Olympia, spending a million years with Kingston before we head to Idaho.
I totally forgot the words, damn it. Where are we agreeing to? Let's set, so, I mean, that sounds very official and scary and intimidating.
Okay, now you're scaring us and intimidating us.
I challenge you
Yes.
to play the farmer's market with Danny.
I don't know that song.
To stop being an ass and to play the farmer's market with Danny. And let me record it.
That's very simple. I will shake on it.
Hey.
Shake.
Woohoo! All right. Thank you.
Rumor has it Caleb will be arriving to see us, and Ariel and Danny still have to carry out their challenge of busking at the farmer's market.
Damn, that last note.